Welcome to Highly Questionable. Dan Lebitard, Poppy Lebitard, and our friend Dominique Foxworth of The Undefeated. What do you like on the show today, Dominique?
Being the scary black guy.
Okay, dale, Papi.
Was it smart or silly for Draymond Green to intentionally rile up Kevin Durant?
Okay, back when they lost to the Kings over the weekend, there was an incident on the sidelines. Kevin Durant got about as heated as you've ever seen him with a teammate, bleep views back and forth. Here's Draymond Green explaining why it is he did all of that.
Is it kind of healthy that you guys can air it out like that in front of everybody? And
if you can, you're probably on a losing team. But everybody who makes a big deal out of it probably are losers. So that's how I view it. Anyone who knows anything about winning know that that's going to happen. And it just is what it is.
This team is coached by a champion who was punched in the face by Michael Jordan during the winning of those championships. So he's right in that regard. But keep in mind, Kevin Durant had his worst game that we've seen, 10 points in that game. He didn't want to hear that then from that guy in that mood. You got to pick your spots with who you're doing that stuff with.
You, Dan! You loser! You've been reading these questions awfully. We're not going to win unless you get your mind right.
Scared me, man.
Your head out of the gutter.
Legitimately scared.
Shut the up, Dan.
Okay, I don't think we can air any of this.
We're airing it all. Kiss. We're not going to lose. I only get to do this show once in a while, and you're going to have effort. Poppy came to play. I came to play. I need Dan to come to play.
I'm sweating.
Good. Now we'll play a little better.
How should Carmelo respond to Phil's tweet?
Man, Phil Jackson upping the ante here, trying to get Carmelo to waive that no-trade clause by making things uncomfortable publicly. Look at what he does here on Twitter. Kevin Ding wrote a column about how you can't change the spots on leopards, and basically Phil Jackson endorses it here. What you have happening here doesn't have a lot of precedent. Where Phil Jackson doesn't have any actual power, Carmelo Anthony has the power of the contract with the no-trade clause to avoid situations like this, and he's just making it more and more uncomfortable. You should try to ignore him, hard as that is.
Well, Phil is also a leopard who cannot change his spots, who thinks that he can manage a team the same way that he did in the past. And he thinks that the triangle is still as effective as it was in the past. So maybe Carmelo isn't the leopard needing to change his spots. Maybe Phil is. And I think Carmelo should react to Phil in the same way that Draymond tried to motivate Kevin Durant. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'd like this to escalate. Right. It's going to escalate by Phil Jackson putting cockroaches in Carmelo's locker, maybe putting a bag of feces in front of his locker on fire to get him to stamp it out. This is going to keep escalating.
I want to see a fight. I want to see a fight between Melo and Phil. Fight.
I'm still sweating from Dominique yelling at me, man. No more fights today. Why is this show so violent all of a sudden? Fight. For the love of God.
Fight.
Yeah! Woo! You are really...
I know, man. I'm still rattled from the first question.
I'm sorry. I thought it was going to get you focused. I thought it was going to make you play better. Is it making you play worse?
See, it doesn't work.
Does it make sense for the Falcons to fire their defensive coordinator?
Man, a quarter and a half ago, this guy was going to get a prime job in the NFL as a head coach, and now all of a sudden he doesn't have a job because his defense got really tired because it played twice as many plays in that Super Bowl as the Patriots. No, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, given that they're a young, strong defense that just got to the Super Bowl, but that's a fireable offense. What happened to them in the Super Bowl?
Well, as the only one up here who is athletic and did play football, it does make sense because they played well in that game, and you can't blame them for that loss. But over the larger sample size, that defense was pretty bad when they had a great offense. Normally, when you have a great offense like that, your defense creates a lot of turnovers because the other team is playing from behind. I think they were, 25th in yards all season? This is a good move. When you need to climb that mountain again next year, when you have some fresh blood, who's also hungry and has some new ideas, and it's not 61, I think they'll be better off.
I agree with whatever he says now just because I'm scared of him.
What does being old has to do with it? You got something against old people?
Right?
Yeah, you know.
Right?
No. I don't have anything against old people.
Yeah,
you're
so
young at heart.
You can pick on me, man, but you start picking on him, you're going to get a beat down.
You're young at heart. You're not old like Dan. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Poppy's younger based on the hairline.
Really?
Situation.
Again with this?
Yeah. Based on the bald spot, I'm going to say Poppy's younger.
I've got nothing else to say. He's managed to alienate both of us in 3 questions.
I can't win. This
in
man
3 questions, he's alienated both of us. Hold on just a second. Hold on a second. You see what I need here? Yeah, I need some of this. Yeah. Good God, man. Can we just go to the 4th question with someone else in his seat?
How impressive is LaMelo Ball's 92 points in a high school game?
Well, he was 30 of 39 from 2-point range, which is pretty good until you consider some of this here. We've got a lot of cherry-picking situations. That's not one of them. That if all the points were like this, you'd be like, okay, 92 points like that. That's kind of amazing. But that's not how they play the whole game. Sometimes he just stands at the other end of the court. Let's see some of the cheaper ones here, if you guys don't mind. Yeah, see this here.
Good catch.
Yeah. Yeah, there he is, not playing a whole lot of defense on this play right here. That's not maximum defense there. I'm going to go ahead and cheapen that by taking away all of the easy baskets.
You can't. Layups are not easy. Didn't we see LeBron miss a zero-footer the other night?
Yeah.
So maybe this kid's better than LeBron. What do you think about that, Poppy?
Well, you got a point there. You got a point there. Now LeBron got some competition,
Really?
tough competition coming
Tough.
your way. You know, I'm telling you something. There's going to be a new sheriff in town pretty soon.
New sheriff, everybody. Watch
right.
out.
New sheriff.
I
It's going to
love
be
the
here.
sheriff. I love him.
92. Wow. What was the most you scored in a high school game, eh?
Oh, really?
What was it?
What
was
has
your
this
best
turned
game?
into here, man? God.
92?
Just answer the question. The man asked you a
I
question.
didn't play high school
As a member of the
basketball.
media,
I
you want
made
your
a
questions
game winner
answered.
one time in intramural basketball. It was the
Nice.
highlight of my athletic career.
Impressive. Church league baller.
I was so happy.
What did it look like? Was it a step back?
I was
Was
very
it-
small, guys. Very small. I was scared. Panicked at the buzzer. Time was running out.
Yeah, but you had a headband.
I
That
did.
gave you a lot
I
of class.
did.
Right? That's
I
not a
did have
headband now.
I had style. I had style.
That's
I know.
right.
He yelled at me so much about that headband.
How should Joe Lacob feel about MJ telling him Golden State 73 wins don't mean?
This is funny. A collective bargaining agreement meeting, and Michael can't help himself. He's always competing, even there. Leans into Joe Lacob and reminds him of probably the greatest sports pain that Joe Lacob has ever felt in his life. We love it because it's Michael Jordan and how we think of Michael Jordan. It's a maximum jerk move to do that to somebody at a business meeting or in any setting.
Yeah, but Joe Lacob's a better owner than Michael Jordan. So Michael Jordan can talk about how great a player he was, but you're no longer a player. You're now an owner. Joe Lacob should have looked over at him and said, you don't have 73 wins if we combine your record from last season with how many games you won this season.
Right.
So how does that feel?
Yeah.
Mr. Owner of the formerly Bobcats, now Hornets, who were bad then and are bad now? Yeah. Joe Lacob is the man.
Joe Lacob should have said, why are you so mad, Michael? Do you have some money on the under?
Everybody's got a great line for Joe Lacob. Joe Lacob got in that moment and just got buried and left with his tail between his legs. Everyone's got great lines for him now.
Coming up next on my son's TV show, we talk to Malcolm Mitchell.
The story goes that, all 3 objects face the same adversity, but all 3 come out different. The carrot that was hard comes out soft. The egg that was fragile comes out hard. But the coffee beans do something special. The water didn't change the coffee beans. The coffee beans actually changed the water. And the lesson is, regardless of whatever situation you're in, you don't have to let it change you. You can be the person that changed that outcome.
Joining us at the beach today is Malcolm Mitchell.
Champion receiver for the Patriots. He's here to promote his children's book, The Magician's Hat, and his youth literacy initiative, Read with Malcolm. Let's talk to him. Malcolm, you tried to quit football a couple of times, right? Your mom wouldn't let you. What happened in both of those instances?
I think when we moved from Largo, Florida to Valdosta, Georgia, as a kid, I began playing football. It was not having the success that I had back in Florida. So, my natural reaction was, if I'm not able to compete and play on the same level as I did before, I think I shouldn't do it anymore. And the second time happened actually in 10th grade, where it was just a rough time in life, and I was still trying to find my way as a kid, had no idea what I would do, and I didn't know if football was going to be the passion that I pursued.
What was the lesson I read about of the beans and the egg put in the boiling water? What was that lesson? Carrots? What was happening there?
Yeah, so the story goes that, there's 3 pots of boiling water. In one pot, there's a carrot, an egg, and a coffee bean. The story goes that, all 3 objects face the same adversity, but all 3 come out different. The carrot that was hard comes out soft. The egg that was fragile comes out hard. But the coffee beans do something special. The water didn't change the coffee beans. The coffee beans actually changed the water. And the lesson is, regardless of whatever situation you're in, you don't have to let it change you. You can be the person that changed that outcome.
You wrote this children's book. You participated in this project. Is that because of what happened to you in college? You got to college with a junior high reading level, right?
Right.
Do you want that to be something that kids get a hold of early?
I do. As a kid, and I was so focused on athletics, and I truly missed the importance of education. The roles were kind of reversed. It was, I go to school so I can play sports, not, I go to school and I happen to play a sport, which is, I believe, the way it should be. Because once I got to college, I realized I was so far behind in life in general. On the football field, I had a competitive advantage, but in life, I would fail because my inability to comprehend and to think in a way that would put me on the same level as my peers. And I knew the problem came from reading, and I thought I could close that gap if I started reading more often.
Since you've become a better reader, you've joined a very unique reading group. Is that true?
Yes.
Could you talk to us about being a part of that?
Yeah, so in Athens, Georgia, once I really indulged in reading, I, joined a book club in Athens. And, what makes the story so popular is it's a group full of women. I'm the only male, the only one of my generation in the group, and actually the only one with my skin color in the group. But, the interesting thing is I never noticed that until people start mentioning it, because the most important thing for me was to really grow as a reader.
Can you tell us a story that would sort of impact the audience about how you got to college and felt insecure because of the details of not being able to read and feeling alone with that?
All right, so once I got to college and I started sitting in the classroom with people my age, and we just started going through lesson plans, start doing homework, just doing the normal things you do in college. And I realized that I was so far behind, and I kind of felt inferior because I knew, there's no way I could compete in life being so far behind. And I immediately knew what it came from because I wasn't a strong reader, nor had I took out the time to try. And once I began, it's a love that, I think will last forever.
So where did you arrive at victory on that? Like, what felt like a triumph for you where you were proud of yourself because you did catch up?
Once I began interacting with individuals and, they started noticing, the difference in the way I went about handling situations or solving problems or just pure interaction itself. I think reading itself is a tool that can help you in every area of life. And that's honestly why I really came out with the book, to encourage kids to pick up a book and read, because there's not many guarantees in life, but I truly believe that if you can read successfully and comprehend information, you have a better chance of succeeding in any area of life.
Thank you for sharing your story with us. We appreciate it, sir, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
INDEPEN DENT. Do you know what that means? Men, INDEPEN DENT. Do you know what that means? She got her own house. She got her own car. 2 jobs. Work hard. You're a bad broad. If you don't sit down, From the Clevelander Hotel on beautiful South Beach, Miami. Time to play the game that finally has an athletic son and love him dearly. Do you question?
You give us topics and events, and we question them.
So jealous.
Do you question if Bill understands fun?
Belichick, is that the Bill we're talking about? Let's go out to the championship parade. What was he doing? Was he not having fun?
And there were no days off. No days off.
Reluctant players going in.
No days off. No days
They look like
off.
hostages.
No days
chant.
off. No days
terrible.
off.
He's
No
trying to
days
sell it.
off. No
Persistent.
days off.
Stubborn. Really? That's it? That's what he did? No days off to a bunch of people who were taking off of work and drinking all day to listen to him chant about not taking days off.
Sadly, that was the biggest smile that we've seen him at any Super Bowl that he's ever won, was the idea that he can go back to work. Exciting. Good for him.
No, not good for him.
It's bad for everybody, but it's good for him.
And for a rebuttal, here is Gronk.
Yeah, Gronk knows how to do fun.
To tell you the truth, I wasn't even planning on partying coming on this, but the fans were asking for it, and I'm giving the fans what they wanted to get. So I party for the fans. That's how we do it. That's how we roll. Here we go.
I mean, Gronk is better at fun than Belichick is. Keep in mind, Gronk did not play in the Super Bowl. Still partied better than any of them.
How talented must you be for a guy like Bill Belichick to deal with somebody like that? Like, he is the antithesis of everything that Bill Belichick believes in. But guess what? He's enormous and can catch the football, so Bill loves him.
Yeah, he likes the chant, no last call, no last call.
Do you question if this was a cheap shot?
We go out all over the globe looking for cheap shots, and this takes us to India to see what we find there. What do we got? What just happened here? Oh, yeah. He was waiting for that opening. And look at that. That's got swag walking away like that's the most normal thing in the world. What kind of video is that? Look at this guy. He's not looking. He's not looking. Here. How about this? Bang. Some of that for you.
I mean, is it still a cheap shot if he deserved it? Like, I'm sure that bull has been tormented his entire life. So it's not a cheap shot. He finally got his chance to get some revenge.
Can we see that one more time here? Did that guy land directly on the top of his skull? Is that how he landed? Just walking, hands behind his back, whistling. Ow! Ow!
That was an old and a slow bull. But I know an older than a slower one.
No, man.
Dwayne Wade. That's it. Dwayne Wade. That's right.
That's so not right, man.
Time to play the game that has no shower in days. See? Oh, no.
Tell us what to watch on television tonight. We'll tell you if we're intrigued.
On Fox Sports Wisconsin, Heat and Bucks.
Oh, I know somebody. Look how happy that made him. The smile, he heard Heat and he started smiling. They've won 11 in a row. Goran Dragic is shooting in the last 11 games 70% on spot-up threes.
Wow.
70% in the last 11 games. This is one game against Minnesota. He's making everything. He didn't mean to do that. He hit 7 in this game. He is, I think, second in the league. He didn't mean that either. Second in the league in three-point shooting percentage. Yeah, that was pretty good. Dominique, are you intrigued?
I'll say C, but not for Goran, for my man Dion Waiters, because he has been much ridiculed, but now he's balling. You got to be happy for that.
Yeah, he's got a sprained ankle, not playing tonight. Poppy, are you intrigued?
Oh, see, I'm very intrigued. I'm telling you, we started this 11 win streak with 3 guys there doing the best they could do. That was Babbitt, Willie Reed, and Omar White. And I'm telling you something, they're going to do the same thing tonight. They're going to come through again. They're going to keep that winning streak alive.
Okaru White is his name. He keeps calling him
Omar. No, I don't change his name.
Okay.
Omar is his name.
All right, you change your name. Don't make him change your
That's
name. You
right.
change your name.
On the Smithsonian Channel, Crazy Monster.
These are always fun. Weird monsters. We've got animal kingdoms. They do weird things. Let's see what we got.
This frog's highly unusual form of daddy daycare that truly makes it stand out from the crowd. After mating, it's up to the male to fertilize and guard the eggs. The male picks up his young one by one and places them in his mouth. The tiny tadpoles are now fully formed froglets. It'll soon be time to set them free. 50 days after consuming his young, the male finds a safe, secluded spot and braces himself. One by one, the Darwin frog vomits up his young. Up to 19 of them. These perfect little replicas are now left to fend for themselves.
Do you know how many Friday nights I've had like that, right there by that pool? Dominique, are you intrigued?
What were you vomiting?
Yeah, just tadpoles and tequila.
Okay. Yes, I'm very intrigued. Science is fun.
Poppy, are you intrigued?
See, I'm very intrigued, but I don't think I'll be very good at that one there. You know, once it goes in, it doesn't come out
Right.
back out again. You know, comes out the other way. You know what I mean?
Really? Really? I mean, it wasn't disgusting enough. Really? Is that how we're going to end the show? Oh, for the love of God.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you for watching.
Our thanks to Dominique Foxworth, except for that first question where he yelled at me. Check him out on The Undefeated.
That was the best part.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh.